Hey guys, welcome back to Echoes of Experience. I had a thought today after a conversation with one of my buddies. Um, it was about relationships, or more like the start of relationships, right? Um, and essentially, the conversation was if you feel strongly about somebody, right, and you two have known each other forever, you click really well, even if you haven't known each other for very long or super long, I should say. You click super well, and everything just kind of flows naturally together. But you don't want to get into a relationship. Why? What's complicated about it? Is it complicated at all? I would venture to say it's fucking not. It's not complicated because if you're doing relationship things with someone and that just kind of all flows together naturally, there's no forcing. There's no, um, I don't know. Nothing comes unnaturally between the two of you. Why not go for it? Like I understand that there are people who don't want to put titles on the relationship. They think once it turns into a relationship, things get complicated, but I don't think it does. I think being in the relationship doesn't make that already not established relationship just solidified. It just makes it a solid relationship. The only thing that's going to complicate it is how you communicate and how you come to learn each other's love languages, which if you have already spent X amount of time together and you know those love languages, you just don't know how to communicate, that can be worked on, right? Um, I don't understand the where the complication comes into play because to me it just seems like we complicate it for ourselves. It's not complicated because it's a relationship. It's complicated because we're thinking too fucking hard. You know what I mean? Um, I was in uh, a situation many years ago where me and a woman we talked, things flowed naturally. We when we hung out, it was never awkward silence. There was never any kind of forced interaction. Nothing. But we just weren't meant to be, and that's fine. That's how that goes. Um, when we decided that we were going to put the relationship title on it, she asked me if it was going to get complicated because we're now in a relationship, and I said I don't think it is, for the simple fact we've already been doing what people do in a relationship. The only difference between now and then is we're calling it what it is, and we've officiated a relationship, but that doesn't in itself make it complicated. And I I don't understand this. I'm going to go into a bit of a tangent. I don't understand why nowadays people can't be in relationships. Like you have good chemistry with somebody, things go really well, um, but it turns into this situationship where you do everything that's involved in a relationship without calling it a relationship. That to me is stupid as fuck. Stupid as fuck. Because if you two have strong feelings for each other, not like I might like him or I might like her, but like actual you've developed feelings for this person and vice versa. You've established that you have these feelings for each other, and things always flow naturally between the two of you. I don't understand the problem. You know, if it's a mutual thing where you two are feeling a certain way, you are. It's not like a lustful, I just want to fuck kind of thing. It's not like I might like this person. Like, you really have grown to really like somebody, and vice versa. I don't understand why people think the relationship complicates it. You're already doing it. And people, hate to tell you, people fucking know. You're just the only thing you're doing in a situationship is you're allowing yourself and your quote unquote partner to be with other people. And I don't know about any of you out there. If I'm involved with somebody, like romantically involved, it is turned into what could be a really good relationship. I don't fucking like sharing. I'm very selfish in that way. And I would really hope that you are too, because I can't stand the thought of somebody that I am actively involved with, and we've established that this is leading to a relationship, not like a we're gonna fuck every once in a while. Um, but we've actually established, we've had the conversation that this is leading into a relationship. I can't stand the thought of that same person being involved with somebody else, because at that time, by that time when the conversation happens of this is leading to this point, right? I'm invested. I've put my time and my energy into this, and I'm going to continue to do that because I know that it's leading to a certain point. And we're going to make sure that I'm doing it the right way. We'll get into the right way. But I'm not understanding where the confusion comes in or the complication. Like because it's called a relationship, you're calling a spade a spade. You know what I mean? It it, it doesn't make any sense to play these games where we're gonna we're gonna do everything that is involved in a relationship, but we're not gonna be in a relationship. That doesn't make any sense, if you ask me. Now, I would be willing to accept if there's been an establishment of this is just going to be a friends with benefits kind of situation, and it's not going to lead somewhere. I fine. But don't go playing games with people and tell them that this is going to lead somewhere, or just never have the conversation, because that conversation does need to be had. If you're going to get involved with somebody, it needs to the conversation of where is this going to go needs to be had. And if you don't know, don't lie to them. You don't fucking know. It's as simple as that. If they can't accept the answer, I don't know, just be like, look, I'm sorry, I haven't really put much thought into it. Or just fucking be honest. If you don't see it going anywhere, it's not going nowhere. This situation. If you're not okay with this, that's fine. We can stop. It's as simple as that. Communication. Communication. I should figure out how to edit words into this. um, it's not difficult, and it's not complicated. We make it more complicated than it needs to be. I don't know if people do it for the sake of not hurting feelings. I don't know if people do it for their own convenience. I don't understand. Um, if you don't want to be involved with somebody, don't be involved with somebody. I mean, if you have the conversation, I don't want to be involved like this, whatever. If you do want to be involved with somebody, fucking be involved with that person. Give that a fair shot. What are we doing out here playing these games like I need to date 20 people at once and see which one keeps my attention? That's fucking stupid, by the way. That's a stupid ass mentality, and I've seen that a lot. It's a stupid fucking mentality. Because that implies to me that all of these people that you're talking to are in a competition. Dating shouldn't be a competition. If you're interested in somebody, if you have actual feelings for somebody, that's who you should go for. And hopefully, they feel the same about you. If they don't, oh well. Next, move on. It's not hard, but people are out here playing games with people's heads, and then in turn wonder why these people no longer want anything to do with them once they find out what this game is. It is a fucking game. I don't know why I quoted that, but it's a fucking game. That's all it is. It's it's stupid. If your mom is somebody who tells you that you need to date multiple people at once, um, she could have done better, and you can do better. If you are the monogamous kind of person, and you only want to date one person, that one person catches your attention, piques your interest, why wouldn't you just go for that person? You know what I mean? And if it just so happens that you do go for that person, things occur very naturally. They flow together. Even if you don't communicate well at first, everything else is great. If you argue, whoever's at fault comes back and apologizes, right? Why is it complicated to be with that person where all of these good things are going on, all these green flags are appearing, like, what's the issue? Where does the complication come into play? I'm not understanding the complication aspect because it doesn't seem very complicated. It seems to me that we as people are the complicated ones and we make shit harder than it needs to be. I think that's a problem because the things that are hard are already hard. The things that shouldn't be hard don't need to be. It doesn't need to be complicated. It doesn't need to be this long drawn out, like, let me put you in my pocket for the next couple of years. And if you're still here, then great. I'm going to go and do my own thing. That doesn't make sense to me. Like, if you're going to seriously consider getting into a relationship with someone, I think that person should be the one getting your attention, having the time invested into them. And if I'm getting involved with somebody, if I'm putting my time, my effort, and my attention to a specific person, and things are going really well, and even if we haven't established that this is leading to a relationship, if we're doing relationship shit outside of a relationship, I'm invested. I'm going to put my time and my energy into it. And that's the one person who's going to get it. You know what I mean? If it's a situation where I don't see anything happening, I'm not going to put my time and energy into it. I might talk to that person, but it is not going to be in the context of a relationship. Absolutely not. That's stupid to me. It's a waste of time. It's a waste of my own energy. Why would we waste our own energy on things that aren't going to lead us anywhere? It's like the high school kid who goes to work at McDonald's. Okay, it's your first job. That's great. I'm glad you're working. You're making money. That's fantastic. You either, at some point, you either have to move up in that company or you need to move on to learn another skill and do even better. You know what I mean? And if you don't do that even in your relationship, what are you doing? What are we really doing? It doesn't quite make sense that, and I keep saying this repeatedly because it just doesn't make any fucking sense, but it doesn't make sense that we're out here talking about this is going to lead to this, or this might lead to this, or maybe this will lead to this, and it not go anywhere near that direction. You know what I mean? I don't know. That it's just that's what I have to say about that, because I don't understand why we're playing games. I don't understand why we're allowing ourselves to be held back because we think a relationship's going to complicate things. Relationships aren't complicated. We make them complicated. If we are dating and we're dating correctly, correctly means we're communicating effectively. We're not talking to brick walls or yelling at each other. We're communicating effectively. We're having actual conversation. Um, we're learning or have learned and are utilizing love languages, and we're consistently putting forth the effort. Even if you're busy, you're going to have time to put effort and time into your relationship. There is not a person out there, I don't give a fuck who you are, that cannot at some point during the day put time and energy into their relationship. You could be the president of the United States. I don't give a fuck. That man has time to go home to his wife. That woman has time to go home to her husband and put actual time and energy into that relationship. Relationships last because people are constantly dating. Those marriages you hear about that have been solid for 40 or 50 years, you only do that by dating. For men, we enjoy the hunt, right? The chase. You can do that in an established relationship. You can't be the complacent one and just say, I'm not going to chase her no more. I've already got her. Someone else is going to start chasing her. And they might do it better. They might be the person who steals your lady because you're not putting forth any kind of time or effort into your relationship and someone else is. See what I'm saying? Why would you allow that to happen if you know you have a keeper? If you know you have essentially the woman of your dreams, why would you allow that to happen? You have a choice in that. You can't be complacent and just stop chasing your woman because you're in a relationship. That's not how that works. And for women, like, you kind of have to do the same. Not necessarily chase, but you need to date your husband. You need to date your boyfriend. Just because you have him doesn't mean, oh, I'm not going to put any effort into this now. That's not how that works. That's why you go on dates. If you have kids, you pick a night where you have a babysitter or something. You go on a date. and you spend quality time together. You leave your fucking phones in the car and enjoy each other's company. So we, as a society, romanticize the fuck out of these marriages that have been going on for 40, 50 years, even 30 years is admirable. And we're not willing to do the work in order to make that happen for ourselves. Why? If you don't ever want to be married, that's another story. Fine. But in the particular case where at some point you want that life where you get to go home to your wife or your husband or and your kids, whatever. You want to actually have a life and a family, settle down and just enjoy life with them. Why wouldn't you put forth the work to make that happen? Because it's going to take work. Relationships always take work. It is never, ever going to always be easy. You might have easy days, sure, but relationships aren't easy. Nothing worth it is. People who start their own businesses, they don't just open up a business and then go on vacation next week. As a business owner, you're going to work the hardest you've ever worked in your life. In a relationship where you see marriage in the future, you're going to work the hardest you ever worked in your life for that relationship. That's just how that's going to go. If you want it to last, if you want it to be that last relationship, if you want to be the guy who can go home to his wife and see his kids and have a happy home together, or be the woman who goes home to her husband and her kids and have a happy home together, it takes work. It takes a lot of work. But you have to keep dating each other even whenever you get married. A marriage certificate is never a solidification of a marriage. It's just a marriage certificate. It's just a piece of paper. A ring is not some sacred symbol. It's not what this is. It takes work. We seem to have lost the plot on how this shit works. There are people, I love this so much. There are people that I've known for years who have been together for years. Two of my friends back home are married. They've been together since I've known them. And that was almost 10 years ago. I was in high school 10 years ago. Like, I don't understand why it's so hard to conceptualize that. One, nothing worth it comes easy. Secondly, that relationships are gonna take work. If you have unresolved conflict in a relationship, that just builds up. If you have uncommunicated feelings, that shit just builds up. You have to learn how to communicate. You have to learn how to date your partner. And if you're going to date your partner and put forth that effort and time and energy like you should, you need to do it correctly. You need to learn how to communicate. You need to learn their love language. You need to learn the keys to success in a relationship. Which really is just, don't be fucking complacent. Improve your relationship in every aspect as much as possible. In every way. Sexually, romantically. I mean, it's not hard. But it seems like we've made it really fucking complicated to date people. And I feel like because of that, the dating pool is garbage. Because people aren't even willing to put the work in on themselves, let alone a relationship. That's a really big problem. The dating pool sucks because of stuff like that. People aren't willing to see their own flaws. Everybody has them. Okay. Nobody's perfect. I don't give a fuck what you say. Nobody's perfect. You have flaws. I have flaws. That's how it works. We're people. We are human beings. We're going to have flaws. But if you're not willing to work on the things that affect, like if you're a liar, if you're not willing to work on that, you're not going to get very far in a relationship. If you're a bad communicator and you fail to work at that, you're not going to get very far in a relationship, because a relationship relies on good communication, effective communication, because good doesn't mean shit. You can you can communicate as well as you want to, but the other person has to be listening and comprehending what you're saying versus what could be misinterpreted. So even if you have to do some kindergarten shit and be like, okay, so this is what I heard you say. Is this what you meant? And if that's what you wanted to say, then great. Now you're communicating. If that's not what you wanted to say it a different way. It's not complicated. It's really fucking not. We're creating conflict where conflict doesn't even need to be created, because we're not communicating, we're not working out our own issues, let alone issues in a relationship. Does that make sense to you? Does it make sense to go on to this continuous cycle of not working on issues and not improving our relationships just to have to start over and do it again with the same issues? Does it make sense for us to continuously repeat the cycle and over again restart with somebody new with the same fucking problems that you had in the last relationship? Because you fail over and over again to, one, work on the issues that you have, let alone work on the issues that you and your partner have together. Because okay, let me back up. Because if you're in a relationship, if one of you has a problem, if this is a real relationship, if one of you has a problem, you both have a problem. Doesn't matter what it is, because you're a team. You're supposed to be a team. Dishes are piled up in the sink. Your partner is depressed as fuck, being a slob, and yeah, that can be frustrating. But are you just gonna yell at him? No, you shouldn't. Because what needs to happen is you need to show them a little extra love. Like, hey babe, I noticed that pile of dishes hasn't been touched yet. Let's go do them together. Let's put on some music and do it together. One of you washes, one of you dries. Or if you have a dishwasher, just fucking throw them in the dishwasher. I don't understand why things are so difficult in the land of dating. Like, it's not hard. You're depressed. You're being a slob. You have a pile of clothes sitting on the floor somewhere that your partner has asked you 3 or 4 times to do something about, and you haven't done shit. Would you want your partner to come and yell at you about it? I can answer that question, because no, you fucking wouldn't. Nobody does. You should treat people in a relationship how you want to be treated, and regardless of whatever situation. That's like the golden rule that we're taught when we're kids. Treat people how you want to be treated. In a relationship with your partner, you have to treat them how you want to be treated. You can't be complacent. You can't be an asshole. Sometimes it's going to happen anyway. You're going to be an asshole sometimes. That's how it goes. Nobody's perfect. You're going to fuck it up sometimes. What matters is what you do after you fuck it up. Are you going to fix it? And are you going to do better from then on out? Or are you going to repeat the cycle? Are you going to create and repeat the cycle? What would you want your partner to do? What would you want your wife or your husband or your boyfriend or your girlfriend to do for you in a realistic setting? Don't give me this fantasy, I hope he takes care of me bullshit, because in this economy, it's probably not going to happen. Our economy is a fucking joke. Okay? It's not going to happen. So give me something realistic. What would you want your partner to do? To treat you? How would you want them to love you? How would you want them to take care of your needs? I'd actually love to see that in the comments. If you have thoughts on this, I would love to see them in the comments. That's all I have to say about that. I had a thought, and it led to a whole lot of tangents in my head, and I felt like it was a good idea for a video. So, I hope you all have a wonderful night. I hope you have a wonderful week. I will see you in the next one.